Thanks for stopping by. So for today's class, we'll be learning how to draft and sew this very simple style. It's just a free gown and one of the latest gown people are sewing now. So to start with, we'll be drafting the back first. So we'll be using the back to cut out the front since it's just a simple gown. So starting from the shoulder, the shoulder of 15 inches. 15 inches divided by 2, that's 7.5 plus half inch. We have uh, we have 8 inches. Just mark out the 8 inches. Then neck, I'll be using 3.5 inches. Sorry, 3 inches I mean to say, or you can still use 3.25. So this is our neck, 3.25. That's what we are using. Then on the shoulder, you come down by 1 inch, connect it. Then for the neck, we'll be coming down by 1.5 inches here for the back neck. I came down by 1.5 inches, then you connect it like this. So after that, you come down here, and for the armhole, I use my shoulder divided by 2, and that is 15 divided by 2, which is 7.5. So to make sure we're on the right path, whatever I measure here, I will confirm that here. So which is 8 inches. So after you've connected it, get your midpoint, which is 3.75. Then you come in by half inch. Let's extend our line here. So just connect it like this. Okay. So this is our O. So we go to our all of our lines. So the bust line is 10 inch. The waistline is 17.5. The hip line is 26, and our full length is 38 inches. We have it here, 38 inches. Then the sewing, the hemming allowance, 2 inches, that's 40 inches. So I'll mark the same thing. I'll move forward and mark the same thing so that I'll get the perfect line. 10 inches, 17.5, 26, 38, 40. Then I'll roll out all the lines like this. So you can see we are drafting on the lining. It's better you draft on the lining before transferring it to your major material, or you draft on your pattern paper. Then you connect it to your um, material. Okay, so our circumference measurement now, the bust, the round bust is 41 divided by 4, that's 10.25. Our waist, the original waist is 40, but because it's a kind of a free gown, so I'm going to be adding 2, which is 42 inches. So 42 divided by 4 is 10.5. Then the round hip is 46. 46 divided by 4, we have 11.5. So for our full measurement, which is around the knee line, because I measured 11.5 here, I'll remove 1.5 inches if I'm making a fitted skirt, like an A line or a pencil skirt. But this one is a free ground gown. So whatever I measured here on the round hip is what I'll be measuring also at the hemming line. So I'll also measure 11.5 inches so that we get that straight line. So I'll be connecting it. Before we connect it, let's confirm our armhole width of 20 inches. So divided by 2, that's 10 inches. So measure it round like I'm doing. So we have our 10 inches here. So I'm connecting everything now like this. Very easy to draft, as in very, very easy to draft. And we are done. We are done. Be using it to cut the front as well. Have inch sewing allowance on your shoulder. So for to do our front, to draft out our front, we'll just be placing the back on our material and cut it out. But before we do that, you can see I've ruled a line there. I just measure 1.5 inches because for the front we will be joining. If you look at the design properly, we will be joining it. So we need allowance for the joining. That's why I did I mark out 1.5. So this is our back that we did earlier. The gown doesn't need any zip. So probably in future, if you just feel like adding zip to the front, this allowance can still do serve that purpose as well. So just place your back on the line you ruled in front for the front. So I placed it out the way it is. Make sure all rhymes and they are equal as well. So I need to shift it forward a bit. So just place it on it like I did, like I'm doing now. Okay. So we just have to make sure it's properly placed. Okay. So we can pin it down. After placing it on the line, just pin it down so it won't shift. Then we'll be cutting it out exactly the way it is, exactly. After we are through cutting this out, the front we have to do just a bit of adjustment on the neckline because that's the only difference. The neck of the front has different measurements with the back from the back. So we'll be adjusting that after we are through cutting it out. Okay. So open this up the side. The sewing allowance you added to the center front, just open it up. So after you are done doing that, you can now remove the front. So the adjustments I said we'll be doing there is that, remember I we have 1.5 on the neckline of the back. So for the front on, we'll be making use of 7 inches. So you can see I placed my tape rule as if I have that as if I have still have that material there. So just start 1.5, you off it, then extend your neckline of the front to 7 inches to get our V shape. Then you connect it like this for the V. So I'll finish it up with a straight line. So this is the neckline for the front. So this is the back. I'm done cutting it. This is the back. I cut both the Ankara material and the lining. So we'll go ahead to stitch it this way. Open up the back like this. Place the lining on top of it, just like this. So we'll be stitching. We'll go ahead and stitch half inch. Remember, we use 1.5 inch for the sewing allowance. So you're going to be stitching half inch by the side here and half inch on the other side. You are not stitching the neckline and you are also not stitching the armhole line. Just go ahead and stitch the both side by half inch and you turn it over. Likewise the front too. I cut the front. Remember, it's going to be in two colors. So we need to open it up. So I cut the fabric and the lining. So you place the lining on top of it, just this way. This is one side of it. I cut it, and remember there is sewing allowance at the middle, which we'll be using to join it. Let me explain it better to us. So this is one side of the front, and this is the second side. Hope you can see that properly now. So I'll still later join it in the middle like this. So I'm using net for the other side of my home, and the other side is Ankara. So for each block of the front, for the front block, so just place the lining on top of it. Then you'll be stitching the side, just the side alone, the side and the center to here by half inch, the side by half inch and the center by half inch. Also the second side of it, you stitch the center by half inch, stitch the side by half inch, and turn everything over. This is the results. I have stitched it, you can see, and I turn it over. This is our back. Then I did the front too in same way. So this is the front. You can see the lining at the back, and this is the other side of it. So what we will now be doing next, is for us to stitch the neck. Let me turn it to the lining. So you stitch the neck in just this way. Like this, half inch. Then you measure 4.5 inch here. This 4.5 inch. So you also stitch half inch So you are going to be stitching like this and like this, but not on the right side here. You turn it over this way and stitch just the way I explained to you. You turn it over this way, stitch like this and like this, 4.5 inch on this side. So you do same thing for the other side, for the other neckline, 4.5 inch too. So by the time we are done stitching it, then we'll turn it over. We'll have a clean stitch here. So after you are done stitching it, we will now also be joining the shoulder together. Both shoulder will be joining it together. Hope you understand that. So I'll be doing those steps. And also, after you join the shoulder together, we'll be joining this in the middle. We'll place it on top of each other like this, and you stitch. Remember, it was 1.5 inch we used as sewing allowance, and we've used half inches, I mean, to turn it, so it remains 1 inches. So you are going to be stitching it down all through to join the two sides together. So like I said, we are going to be doing three things. We will be stitching the neckline 4.5 inches in length for both sides. Then we'll join the shoulder of the back and the front together, and we'll also be joining these front sides, these fronts together to make it one. That's what we'll be doing. I have stitched it. You can see the middle. It's been joined together, and I open it up. This is the neckline I stitched. You can see I stitched it halfway. It is being stitched halfway. You can see this is from the center here to this place is 4.5 inches. And I've also joined the shoulder. It has been joined. So the next thing we will do is to join it on both sides. And the easiest way to do that is to start measuring. Our bust line is 10 inches. So the bust line is here, 10 inches. The round bust is 41. So 41 divided by 4, that is 10.25. So the easiest way is to measure from the middle here like this, 10.25. But because it's a free gown, I'll be adding more quarter inch to it. That is 10.5. So we'll go to our waistline, which is 17 here. So the round waist is 42. 42 divided by 4, that is 10.5 as well. Then you go to your hip line, which is 26. 26 and round hip is 46, which is divided by 4. 46 divided by 4 is 11.5. So at the hemming line, just measure whatever you have on the hip line, measure it at the hemming line, or you just bring it straight down. So we're going to be connecting it like this. So it's very simple, just the way you did this side. So I'll go ahead and stitch this now. On the very line, I'll stitch on it. So the same way you did this side, you also measure the other side to join it. And that is it. From there, we'll move to our armhole. You can see everything has been fixed. I opened the center up. So what we'll be doing now is to fix our armhole, and the hemming line, will be stitching it. So I'll be folding it up. Remember to open the sides stitch up while you are folding. So just fold it up. Remember, we added 2 inches for the hemming allowance, so we'll be folding it up by 2 inches, and we'll be folding it round following the shape. So I also have the sleeve. I've cut the sleeve and I've turned it over with a lining. You can see I'm making use of the net for the sleeve. If you want to know how to cut your sleeve, the very simple way to cut your sleeve. I'll be dropping the link on the comment section, so you know um, how to draw and draft your sleeve. So I've drafted mine. I cut it out and I turn it over with the lining. So I'll be stitching it by the side, and I'll be doing same for the second one. I'll attach it. I'll be attaching it to our gown, to our armhole, just like this. So I'll be attaching it. You can see that I'll be attaching it like this. You can see it aligns well. So let me go and do that. So the only thing that will be left for us to do is the collar. If you want to know how to do this collar, just check my link. The link in the comment section. That's where you get the link of how I did the collar, and it's one of the very easiest way to do your collar. Just make sure you don't miss it. It's one of the very easiest way, the fastest means of doing your collar, an easy collar. So after you've done your collar, we are going to be attaching it to our gown this way. I notch the gown to get the center, and I also notch the collar to get the center. So we are going to be fixing it center to center like this. So one by one, we are not going to be fixing the two together at once. So you have to first of all do this. Just stitch it half inch round to the right side, then to the left side too. Just stitch half inch across. So if you check properly, it stop at where we stitch to. We stop at the neckline. So after you are done stitching halfway, the first one, then you are going to be the second one, you are going to be folding it like this and place it on top of this. So you are going to be getting something like this. So you are going to fold this like this up on top of it, and you stop stitch in the same way. So that's the last step of this gown. So I'm going to be stitching it, and we'll be showing us our very final result and what we. So friends, this is our result. You can see how the collar is standing, which makes it so beautiful. If you know you have learned something from our tutorial today, please kindly like, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe. If you want to keep seeing us, seeing more tutorial, please subscribe.